Hidden deep within the annals of history are objects that challenge the limits of our logic and defy the era to which they belong. These are discoveries that force us to question everything we thought we knew about the past, leaving us with only profound curiosity instead of clear answers. Let us take a closer look at these four enigmatic findings, where the same impossible patterns repeatedly emerge across different continents, cultures, and timelines. The mystery of the skies, the Vimanas. Our journey begins in the legendary texts of ancient India, particularly the Vedas and the Mahabharata. These Sanskrit texts are filled with passages that sound less like epic storytelling and more like an attempt to document the technical details of a machine. At the center of these passages are the Vimanas, flying craft. The Vimanas are not merely poetic fantasy. They are described in surprisingly specific ways as vessels that rise vertically, move silently, spin, or glide. Some of their described shapes are closer to modern aircraft diagrams than ancient imagination. Furthermore, the details regarding their propulsion are startling. One verse speaks of a liquid, metal-like substance, while another mentions a rotating mercury chamber. Engineers have suggested that these ancient descriptions could be an early echo of contemporary concepts like ion propulsion or gyroscopic lift. The question of how this level of mechanical thought existed thousands of years before modern aviation makes the Vimanas one of history's great technological anomalies. The blade from the sky, Tutankhamun's dagger. Moving to Egypt, specifically the tomb of Tutankhamun opened in 1922, we encounter the next metallurgical riddle. Among the young pharaoh's treasures was a small iron dagger, exquisitely crafted with a gold handle. However, Tutankhamun lived during the Bronze Age, a time before Egypt had discovered or mastered ironwork. Early iron tools were crude and brittle, yet the skill displayed in this dagger would have taken even later ironworkers years to achieve. The true surprise emerged with modern analysis. The dagger was not forged from earthly iron, but from meteorite iron, rich in nickel, which originated from space. This was no coincidence. The person who made the dagger knew this rare material and understood the technique required to shape it into a weapon without melting it. The simplest and yet most complex question that archaeologists still cannot answer is, how did someone in the Bronze Age learn to work with meteorite iron, a material so hard and difficult to shape that it poses challenges even today? The image on the stone, the funerary stele. Our travel takes us to ancient Greece with the funerary stele, carved around 400 BC, housed in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. This marble relief depicts a simple domestic scene, a seated woman examining an object handed to her by a servant. Yet, when we focus on the object, the scene's simplicity shatters. The item in her hands is slim, rectangular, and shaped exactly like a hinged device, the proportions you would expect from a modern laptop or tablet. It has a distinct border resembling a frame, and on the side are two circular impressions that look like ports or hinges. Though art historians typically label it as a jewelry box, the carving does not resemble any known container from that era. It lacks a lid, clasp, or decorative patterns. Instead, it looks deliberately geometric and plain, with edges and proportions that seem out of place in a sculpture from 2,400 years ago, raising the powerful question of why the sculptor chose to depict an object resembling no known artifact from their time. The polished secret, the Mohenjo-Daro beads. Our final stop is the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro, one of the oldest cities of the Indus Valley civilization. Here, tiny beads that initially seemed ordinary carried an incredible secret. According to reports, these beads appeared to be coated with a thin, shiny layer that resembled modern chromium plating, a substance that provides a mirror-like finish and protects metal from corrosion. This presents a serious problem, as the process of chromium plating was not invented until the early 20th century. For artisans 5,000 years ago to achieve this effect, they would have needed a precise understanding of chemical reactions and high-temperature techniques far beyond the technology attributed to the Indus Valley. The coating is claimed to be deliberate and consistent, indicating a mastery of controlled material manipulation that simply does not match the technology we usually assign to Bronze Age cultures. These four discoveries whisper that the past narrated in our history books is incomplete. Are they illusions, coincidences, or cultural memories belonging to a lost technological age we have forgotten? As scientists and historians continue to try and classify these findings, these objects remain some of the greatest unsolved mysteries in human history.